My dear friends, listen carefully. When you focus on yourself, you stop chasing approval and start building purpose. You stop comparing your journey with others and begin respecting your own pace. Focusing on yourself means investing time in your growth, not wasting energy on noise. It means healing your wounds instead of hiding them behind excuses. When you focus on yourself, discipline replaces motivation. Your habits become stronger than your emotions. Your silence becomes louder than your complaints. You realize that progress is personal, not public. And once you truly focus on yourself, your life begins to change quietly but powerfully. Focus on yourself when the world is too loud to hear your own thoughts. Focus on yourself when opinions start controlling your emotions. Focus on yourself when distractions pull you away from your purpose. Focus on yourself when motivation fades and discipline must lead. Focus on yourself when progress feels slow but growth is happening. Focus on yourself when people doubt your vision. Focus on yourself when comparison steals your peace. Focus on yourself when silence feels uncomfortable. Focus on yourself when no one claps for your effort. Focus on yourself because your journey is sacred. Focusing on yourself means choosing growth over gossip. It means protecting your energy like it is priceless. It means waking up with intention, not excuses. It means building habits that support your future. It means saying no without guilt. It means trusting the process even when results are invisible. It means improving quietly without announcing every step. It means accepting responsibility for your life. It means becoming your own support system. It means understanding that change starts within. When you focus on yourself, clarity replaces confusion. Your goals become sharper and more meaningful. Your mind stops wandering toward negativity. Your heart learns patience and resilience. You stop reacting and start responding wisely. You measure progress by effort, not applause. You respect your limits without quitting. You understand your weaknesses without self-hate. You grow stronger emotionally every day. You become consistent instead of emotional. Focusing on yourself teaches you self-discipline. It trains your mind to stay committed. It pushes you to act even when you don't feel like it. It helps you replace excuses with action. It builds confidence through small wins. It teaches you to delay comfort for success. It strengthens your self-respect. It turns routines into rituals. It transforms effort into identity. It creates momentum that is hard to stop. When you focus on yourself, you stop chasing validation. Likes, praise, and attention lose their power. You work because it matters, not because it's noticed. You value progress over perfection. You stop explaining yourself to everyone. You learn to be proud in silence. You trust your instincts more. You stop seeking permission to grow. You become comfortable standing alone. You realize peace is more valuable than approval. Focusing on yourself also means healing. Healing from past mistakes without shame. Healing from betrayal without bitterness. Healing from failure without fear. You forgive yourself for what you didn't know before. You learn lessons instead of carrying regret. You rebuild confidence step by step. You release pain that no longer serves you. You choose growth over resentment. You allow yourself to move forward freely. When you focus on yourself, your mindset shifts. Problems become challenges, not barriers. Obstacles become teachers, not enemies. You stop asking, why me, and start asking, what now? You develop mental strength. You stay calm under pressure. You think long-term instead of short-term. You stop quitting when things get hard. You become solution-oriented. You grow wiser with every setback. Focusing on yourself improves your relationships. You stop expecting others to complete you. You communicate with clarity and confidence. You set boundaries without anger. You attract respect through self-respect. You stop tolerating what drains you. You give without losing yourself. You listen without losing your voice. You choose quality over quantity. You build connections based on growth. When you focus on yourself, consistency becomes natural. Small daily actions create massive change. You show up even on difficult days. You stay committed when excitement fades. You build patience with the process. You trust timing instead of rushing outcomes. You improve 1% every day. You understand that mastery takes time. You stay focused even when progress is invisible. You keep moving forward without stopping. Focus on yourself because no one else can do it for you. Your dreams need your discipline, not your excuses. Your future depends on today's decisions. Your growth requires your attention. Your peace needs your boundaries. Your success demands your consistency. Your healing requires your honesty. Your strength grows from self-belief. Your life changes when you take control. And when you truly focus on yourself, everything else aligns. Focus on yourself when motivation disappears and only commitment remains. Those moments decide who you become. Discipline speaks when emotions stay silent. You learn to move without waiting to feel ready. You act even when fear is present. You stop delaying your potential. You train your mind to obey your goals. You build strength through repetition. Trust effort over feelings. You prove reliability to yourself. When you focus on yourself, patience becomes your power. You stop rushing what needs time. You understand that growth is not instant. You allow progress to unfold naturally. You stay calm during slow seasons. You trust unseen development. You respect the process. You stop comparing timelines. You remain steady under pressure. You grow with grace. Focusing on yourself sharpens your vision. You see distractions for what they are. You prioritize what truly matters. You say no to unnecessary drama. You invest time wisely. You protect your focus fiercely. You stop multitasking your destiny. You simplify your life. You create mental clarity. You move with direction. When you focus on yourself, confidence becomes internal. It no longer depends on praise. It grows from self-trust. You stand firm in your decisions. You speak with purpose. You walk with assurance. You stop seeking approval. You believe in your abilities. You embrace who you are becoming. You feel grounded. Focusing on yourself teaches emotional control. You pause before reacting. You respond with wisdom. You don't let anger lead. You don't let fear decide. You manage stress effectively. You choose peace intentionally. You observe before judging. You stay balanced. You gain inner stability. When you focus on yourself, setbacks lose power. Failures become lessons. Mistakes become feedback. You don't quit at discomfort. You don't panic at obstacles. You adapt instead of surrender. You rise after falling. You strengthen resilience. You keep perspective. You move forward stronger. Focusing on yourself improves self-awareness. You understand your triggers. You recognize your patterns. You identify strengths clearly. You work on weaknesses honestly. You accept responsibility. You grow consciously. You stop self-sabotage. You develop emotional intelligence. You evolve intentionally. When you focus on yourself, habits shape your future. Daily routines define results. Consistency becomes identity. You build systems, not wishes. You choose discipline daily. You align actions with goals. You maintain structure. You reduce chaos. You live with intention. You grow steadily. Focusing on yourself creates inner peace. You stop overthinking opinions. You detach from negativity. You control your reactions. You protect your mental health. You choose calmness. You stay present. You reduce anxiety. You breathe freely. You feel lighter. When you focus on yourself, independence strengthens. You rely on your effort. You trust your judgment. You stop waiting for rescue. You take initiative. You become self-sufficient. You stand alone confidently. You build inner security. You move without permission. You grow fearless. Focusing on yourself builds mental toughness. You endure discomfort. You face challenges directly. You don't avoid hard work. You stay focused under stress. You remain compressed. You strengthen willpower. You sharpen discipline. You become unstoppable. When you focus on yourself, productivity increases. You eliminate distractions. You work with clarity. You finish what you start. You manage time wisely. You set clear priorities. You execute consistently. You stay organized. You maintain momentum. You achieve more. Focusing on yourself deepens self-respect. You honor your boundaries. You value your time. You protect your energy. You refuse disrespect. You treat yourself kindly. You invest in growth. You maintain standards. You act with dignity. You stand tall. When you focus on yourself, vision expands. You think long term. You plan strategically. You set meaningful goals. You align purpose with action. You see opportunities clearly. You move intentionally. You stay focused. You build direction. You create impact. Focusing on yourself fuels inner motivation. You push without reminders. You act from desire. You maintain drive. You stay committed. You rely on purpose. You create consistency. You stay engaged. You work passionately. You move relentlessly. When you focus on yourself, balance improves. You manage work and rest. You avoid burnout. You respect limits. You maintain health. You prioritize recovery. You sustain energy. You build harmony. You live sustainably. You last longer. Focusing on yourself strengthens decision-making. You evaluate options carefully. You choose wisely. You avoid impulsive choices. You consider consequences. You think rationally. You trust logic. You reduce regret. You gain confidence. You move decisively. When you focus on yourself, growth accelerates. You commit fully. You stay engaged. You learn continuously. You apply lessons. You improve daily. You adjust strategies. You refine skills. You build competence. You progress faster. Focusing on yourself develops inner leadership. You guide yourself. You hold yourself accountable. You set standards. You follow through. You correct mistakes. You lead by example. You inspire self-discipline. You grow authority. You become dependable. Focus self, because this is your life. Your growth defines your future. Your discipline shapes your success. Your focus determines direction. Your effort creates results. Your mindset controls outcomes. Your consistency builds destiny. Your commitment defines character. Your choices shape reality. And focusing on yourself changes everything. Focus on yourself when distractions pretend to be opportunities. Not everything that shines is meant for you. You learn to filter noise. You choose depth over popularity. You stay loyal to your vision. You protect your path. You stop chasing shortcuts. You value mastery. You commit to excellence. You move with purpose. When you focus on yourself, self-belief grows stronger. You trust your abilities more. You stop doubting every decision. You act with confidence. You believe in your preparation. You silence inner criticism. You replace fear with faith. You stand by your choices. You feel empowered. You become secure. Focusing on yourself builds resilience. You don't break under pressure. You bend but don't quit. You adapt to change. You recover faster. You face reality bravely. You learn endurance. You accept challenges. You grow thicker skin. You stay standing. When you focus on yourself, priorities become clear. You know what matters most. You drop unnecessary commitments. You simplify decisions. You manage time better. You invest wisely. You reduce chaos. You live intentionally. You act with clarity. You stay aligned. Focusing on yourself sharpens discipline. You show up daily. You stay consistent. You keep promises to yourself. You don't negotiate with laziness. You work through discomfort. You maintain standards. You stay accountable. You improve habits. You grow steadily. When you focus on yourself, mental peace increases. You stop overacting. You release control over others. You accept what you can't change. You focus on your actions. You reduce stress. You gain calmness. You breathe easier. You feel grounded. You stay present. Focusing on yourself develops patience. You wait without frustration. You trust timing. You stop forcing outcomes. You remain calm. You stay hopeful. You endure uncertainty. You respect growth cycles. You gain maturity. You become wise. When you focus on yourself, creativity flows. Your mind feels free. Ideas come naturally. You think clearly. You explore solutions. You innovate confidently. You express authentically. You remove mental blocks. You unlock potential. You create freely. Focusing on yourself improves self-control. You resist temptations. You manage impulses. You delay gratification. You stay disciplined. You think before acting. You maintain balance. You avoid regret. You stay focused. You strengthen willpower. When you focus on yourself, confidence becomes quiet. You don't need validation. You move silently. You let results speak. You stay humble. You trust progress. You feel secure. You don't compete. You stay grounded. You grow internally. Focusing on yourself builds emotional strength. You handle criticism calmly. You don't take everything personally. You stay composed. You protect peace. You manage emotions. You stay balanced. You choose responses wisely. You mature emotionally. You grow stable. When you focus on yourself, vision sharpens. You see clearly. You avoid distractions. You stay focused. You commit fully. You eliminate confusion. You plan effectively. You execute consistently. You move forward. You stay aligned. Focusing on yourself improves consistency. You maintain routines. You stay disciplined daily. You don't rely on moods. You show up regardless. You build momentum. You stay reliable. You develop structure. You achieve steadily. You progress surely when you focus on yourself. Growth becomes inevitable. You learn from mistakes. You adapt strategies. You refine skills. You evolve continuously. You seek improvement. You stay curious. You build experience. You become capable. You level up. Focusing on yourself strengthens inner confidence. You believe without proof. You trust the process. You stop second guessing. You commit boldly. You stand firm. You own decisions. You walk confidently. You trust yourself. You feel strong. When you focus on yourself, independence grows. You rely on effort. You trust judgment. You act responsibly. You take initiative. You move freely. You stop depending. You build self-reliance. You gain control. You feel empowered. Focusing on yourself improves awareness. You understand needs. You notice limits. You respect boundaries. You listen inwardly. You stay mindful. You grow consciously. You live deliberately. You remain alert. You stay centered. When you focus on yourself, success feels personal. You define it yourself. You enjoy progress. You appreciate effort. You celebrate milestones. You stay grateful. You remain humble. You stay consistent. You value growth. You feel fulfilled. Focusing on yourself builds long-term strength. You don't burn out. You pace yourself. You maintain balance. You sustain effort. You stay committed. You protect energy. You remain resilient. You last longer. You endure. Focus on yourself because this is your responsibility. No one else can walk your path. No one else can do the work. Your growth is your duty. Your discipline is your power. Your focus is your weapon. Your consistency is your advantage. Your mindset is your foundation. Your effort shapes your destiny. And focusing on yourself is how you win. Focus on yourself even when no one understands your journey. Keep moving even when progress feels invisible. Trust the work you do in silence. Believe in the growth happening within you. Let discipline guide you when motivation fades. Choose consistency over comfort. Protect your peace at all costs. Stay loyal to your vision. Become the person your future needs. Because when you focus on yourself, your life will never remain the same.